I'm not removing the chat because I want to call people out to say stupid things. What is happening to the audio?
Hi, I'm Jonathan Rogers from Grinding Gear Games. Welcome to GGG Live. Today we're going to show you an exclusive reveal of Path
Here
of
comes all the
Exile
retards that say
Mirage,
wrong guy.
which is coming out 1 week from now on March 6th. Twitch drops are enabled on today's live stream, so you'll be able to claim your Mirage weapon effect by following the instructions below.
I actually really want that weapon effect.
Now first things first, let's roll the trailer for Path of Exile Mirage.
Alright.
The Jinn. They were bound to serve, but not to suffer. The Aphrodite assault our lands, trapping my Jinn in an astral plane. Break their
Some kind of arena.
chains, rescue them, and you will be granted a wish.
Okay. More rarity. Wait, is this actually just like a roguelike?
An ancient evil yearns for his freedom. We must keep him in
New
the
boss,
dark.
cool. Oh, hold up. Ooh! Acceptable supports. Oh god. What is happening? That looked like a new bloodline. For the new guy. That looks fucking sick, dude.
In today's stream, we'll take you on a deep dive into
This
Path
looks like a
of
loot
Exile
league.
Mirage, where you'll unravel ancient mysteries, unlock new powerful rewards, and become part of the eons-old story of the Winter Sekima. There are also significant in-game changes coming alongside Mirage, including a progression of the in-game storyline, a new in-game Atlas system,
Yeah, I didn't see
and as
anything about
always,
217
new rewards to
reworks.
match. After that, we want to talk about the slew of new Holy Templar skills and supports, as well as an additional Ascendancy class option added to the Scion, which some of you may find familiar. Next, we'll cover our new supporter packs, and then lastly, have a live Q&A session, where Ziggy D will ask Path of Exile game director Mark, as well as game designer Octavian, your questions from Twitch chat. After the live stream, we'll drop the full patch notes at 11 AM NZT or 2 PM PST.
NZT.
So let's get started. I'll hand things over to Mark to introduce the new league.
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts,
Alright,
Game
that's the free
Director
one, yeah.
on Path of Exile. In Path of Exile Mirage, you'll be taking on the Aphrodite, a sect of desert-dwelling necromancers who have lingered in the shadows for centuries. They are outcasts of outcasts, with no home or promised land. Instead, they seek their sovereignty through darker means. The Aphrodite have captured the souls of Jinn throughout Rayclast. They are killing them, sapping their energies for purposes unknown. You must fight your way past the Aphrodite's necromantic creations to find the captive Jinn. Here, Virashta, an ancient Marikith sorceress, has been doing what she can to protect the Jinn, but she needs your help to free them. After successfully defeating them, you will then be asked by Virashta to enter the Astral Realm and break the tether trapping the Jinn there. This gate to the Astral Realm is a mirage, an imperfect copy of the area around the captured Jinn. Now, when we say an imperfect copy, we mean that quite literally. Hold tight, because this leak mechanic has some serious implications for juicing areas.
Okay.
We'll get to that in a moment. Virashta can augment the magic of the Mirage further, as she allows you to enter, giving you the option to choose one of
Yo, if
three
Bleed Bow's actually a
wishes
thing
before
like
you
they're
do
showing
so.
here, I'm in, bro. 100%
These
more
wishes
maps
are
on Mirage.
modifiers that will apply to the Mirage area, and have some pretty potent outcomes.
I love it.
There are wishes that grant extra rewards, such as the wish for glyphs, which causes all portal
That's cool, that's
and
cool.
wisdom scrolls in the Mirage to instead drop as other currencies.
I love shit like that.
Or wishes that will spawn rewarding enemies, such as the Wish for Avarice, which replaces a number of packs in the area with gilded enemies that convert their equipment drops to gold.
That's kind of nice, actually.
And wishes that can grant you extreme power while inside
Players
the
cannot
Mirage,
die. Why would you pick any
such
other
as
one?
the Wish
Just
for
pick cannot die.
Souls or the Wish for Godhood, which allow you to consume the souls of your enemies or make you completely unkillable, while within the Mirage, of course. Each wish is also marked with the sigil of one of 3 powerful Jinn:
Bronze Jewel
the
Cache.
Sand Jinn,
Oh, cool. They get like
Fire
the
Jinn.
PoE2
or Water Jinn.
Sanctum rewards.
Depending on the sigil chosen, monsters within the affected Mirage will have a small chance to drop one of 3 new coin currencies: a Coin of Knowledge, Coin of Power,
Corrupts a
or
level 20 skill
Coin of
gem,
Skill.
imbuing it with a random support
Each of
effect.
these
That's
coins
cool.
can be used on a
That's so
max-leveled skill gem, corrupting it and augmenting it with a random support that matches the color of the coin
That is
used.
so fucking dope.
Only one skill that is imbued this way can be socketed into a given equipment item at a time, meaning you cannot have 2 imbued skill gems in your body armor, as an example.
Choose what you wish
That's
Why not?
one of the rewards, but let's get back to the area-to-area mechanic.
for you.
Once you've made your choice of wish, enter the Mirage and fight your way through the monsters and astral hazards to find the tether holding the Jinn. Shatter this chain to free the Jinn, step by step,
Self-cast Frost.
weakening whatever dark plans the Ufarud may have for Rayclast. Wishes are not the only value a Mirage has to offer to an enterprising exile.
Okay.
As we mentioned earlier, Mirages are an imperfect copy of the area the Jinn occupies in Rayclast, and it will copy almost anything, as long as it's within the domain of the Jinn. Mirages created from an in-game map, for
Okay.
instance, will have all Scarab, Atlas, and map modifiers the area has.
Okay, now we're talking.
Mirages created next to a strongbox will have a new strongbox.
No,
ready for
not
you to
Strongbox threat again, man. No.
Blights can be defended again.
This is fucking sick.
Legions fought once more, and so on. Effectively, you get a portion of your map to play a second time, and everything you did to enhance the content
If Breach
of that
ends up being
map
really juiced, getting
applies in
more
the
than
Mirage
like
too.
multiple juices with the Mirage is
These
gonna be
recreated
multiple
copies
breaches.
of League
So
mechanics,
insane.
however, have been warped into reality by the power of the Mirage. And this has some side effects. For one, a recreation may not be perfect. The factions of a Legion may differ from the one the Mirage copied. Or, the variety of strongboxes may change. More importantly, the mechanic may be empowered, with new threats and rewards that are customized to each mechanic
Opa
and
less
are
than
only
Strongbox.
available when doing that mechanic in the Mirage.
Was it dropped? No, you
example,
didn't. Oh, I wanted to see what it
Ultimatums
dropped.
recreated in Mirages will have new threatening modifiers added to the usual pool. Restless Ground can raise slain enemies to fight again, or Quicksand will grasp at your ankles. As a
those are
reward
easy
for
to
these
do.
new threats, Mirage Ultimatums can provide the new Sinistral or Dextral Catalysts. These catalyze jewelry with increased
Whoa.
effect of either prefix or suffix modifiers.
Whoa.
As you can imagine, there's a lot of potential here.
Wait a minute.
Another example is that Kalgurin ore recreated in the Mirage has a chance to be replaced by a Thaumaturgic Hourglass, a powerful magical device that your Kalgurin friends can mine in order to obtain vast quantities of Thaumaturgic dust. Blight encounters recreated in Mirages have one of their lanes replaced by Ufarud enemies, infested with Blight. This lane can reward a new base type, the Cord Belt. The implicit of this belt allows it to
Can
be
be anointed.
anointed,
That's cute.
causing it to grant a passive tree notable of your choosing.
That's fucking cool, man.
As a quick note, Imprisoned Jinn will generally be near
nice
the
build.
content
That
they can
looks sick.
empower in the Mirages. So you don't need to worry too much about getting lucky with where your content
Oh, the
generates
Operative
in an
Strongbox
area.
is back with This
As
mechanic
the
is cool.
campaign doesn't generally contain too much additional League content for the Mirages to empower, we've gone and added a whole bunch that will force spawn near the gym. So your campaign experience will double down on being more action-packed and rewarding. Now, of course, if you're traveling through Mirages, encountering new enemies, and slaying them, you can expect to find some new uniques. The Ufarood are not only torturers, but thieves, and have over the centuries stolen away priceless Maraketh artifacts. Using their powers of rot and disease, they have twisted these items to suit their own purposes. Flesh Render is one such artifact.
Cannot play
An
them
ancient and exquisite Maraketh blade that has been
with...
tarnished and befouled. Its rusted and jagged edge
Okay.
is perfect for
No one's using
poisoning
that.
and
Sorry.
withering your enemies.
200
However,
sword poison build? No,
the
no, no,
Rashta
I don't think
has
so.
in her command the power to restore these once-lost Maraketh treasures to their former glory.
Because you have
Acquiring
to...
a coin
Lava would
of
be the only good thing
restoration
you
by
can't do
slaying monsters and mirages allows any unique obtained from the Ufarood to be transformed into its Maraketh counterpart.
that. It's
Its
literally like
glorious
prophecy.
original form. Flesh Render, for example, transforms into Sky Sunder, the original Maraketh blade that radiates with the glowing heat of the desert
Ignite
sun.
you cause are reflected back
When you
to
ignite
you.
monsters, Sky Sunder reflects that ignite back to you, which proliferates to nearby enemies in a
Isn't
massive
that just
area.
for the...
If you meddle with the affairs of
Fucking
the
chieftain?
Ufarood for too long,
Just
though,
another chieftain
you
weapon?
may draw the ire of the Mirage League's new in-game boss, Suresh of the Weeping Black.
No, he's got the good items, let's see.
Suresh also has a set of powerful, exclusive items.
Resistance and
Yours
diamond
for the
shrine. So
taking,
you have a 100% crit
if you're
chance
able to
belt with
defeat
no flasks on.
So that's the Mirage League.
That could be good on Warden.
Now, to face all the new evils, you might want some righteous skills, some holy skills. In 328, you'll have access
Please
to
tell me
a
there's
slew
actually
of
a good
new
one that I wanna
options
play.
to bring divine devastation and return the faithless to their rightful graves. We're also introducing some supports to go with them, as well as some new transfigured gems. Let's go over a few examples.
New Transfigured always
With
gets me
holy
hard, bro.
hammers, you slam the ground to call down a hammer of justice from the sky.
This does look really cool, but I don't like
If this
slams.
hits an
so.
enemy, an additional holy hammer will cascade forwards, which itself can further cascade and so
Bro, are you
forth.
serious? Stop buffing slams so
Expending a power
hard,
charge
man.
when using the skill will call down an
Oh my
additional 2
God.
hammers, which can also cause cascading slams. The more
That looks
numerous
so
your
cool.
foes, the more instruments of holy judgment. Sweep is an old skill. In fact, it is so old that it's one of the very first skills ever implemented in Path of Exile.
Yeah, sweep.
Over
Woo.
15 years ago. It's been long overdue for some attention. With 328, it has been reworked into Holy Sweep. This skill converts some of your physical damage to lightning, with shiny new effects to match. Some enemies struck by the initial sweep will have hammers of light batter them from above. These hammers cause area damage where they land, so clustered enemies are demolished
Okay.
by repeated impacts. When successfully hitting an enemy with Holy Strike, you'll summon forth a floating holy armament, a glowing mace that follows you closely. These weapons are minions, and will attack with Holy Strike themselves whenever you do. These holy armaments will copy the stats of your main hand weapon to deal their damage.
Yeah, Quinn's playing it. He's gonna play that.
Stand against your foes with Shield of Light, a retaliation skill which will
No,
allow
not
you to unleash a
retaliation,
cone of holy
man.
light upon enemies after blocking a hit with your
Why
shield.
couldn't there just be... I want to play this. It looks so cool,
Additional
but it's
cones of light
retaliation.
will also pour forth from your nearby allies when you hit with the skill.
God fucking damn
allowing you
it.
to recruit
There's so
your
many cool
holy
skills in the
army
game that
to
are just
create
ruined because
purging
of this
light.
retaliation tag.
Divine Blast emits a beam of holy light from your shield, coalescing into a hovering ball of energy.
Is it an
A
attack
few
or is it a
moments later,
spell?
this unstable orb bursts, exploding outward with divine
That's
power.
fucking terrible.
Hallow supports melee attacks, causing them to inflict a new debuff, Hallowing Flame. Hallowing Flame builds up as charges on enemies, getting consumed when attacked. Consuming a stack of Hallowing Flame gives the attack that consumed it a significant amount of extra fire damage, but only those who did not inflict the Hallowing Flame are able to consume it.
What?
Perfect for those of you who enjoy a more supportive playstyle with your
Just a
army
buff
of
for party
holy
play or what?
sentinels.
Oh, I see.
Or friends, when
Yeah.
they're online. We've also added sources of this debuff to a number of other places, such as unique items, cluster jewels, and the Guardian Ascendancy class.
Okay.
We also have another batch of new transfigured gems, with many of these being variants for gems which previously had none. One example is the Shockwave
Oh?
Totem of Authority, which casts its higher damage dealing Nova at your location instead of its
Okay.
own.
I like that.
You might also enjoy Orb of Storms of Squalls. These storms warp directly to targets when you use lightning skills, and arc lightning upon doing so.
Huh?
This gives you a mobile
Oh.
storm of destruction that follows you as you dive into battle.
It's kind of cool.
We'll leave the rest of the transfigured skills for you to comb through in
Fuck
the
off.
patch notes. Speaking of the patch notes, as always, we love to shake up the meta, so we've done
Okay.
a bunch of balance adjustments to a few other things as well, such as a pass on bloodline classes,
Yes, thank you.
expanded
you,
the
thank you,
passives
thank you.
available to the Templar section of the passive tree, and various improvements to existing holy themed skills such as Static Strike,
Okay.
Holy Flame Totem,
Okay.
and Dominating Blow. We're also doing our usual improvement to some of the least played Ascendancy classes.
Saboteur
This
got
time with a
buffed.
focus on Guardian and Warden.
Warden, nice.
Speaking of Ascendancies, let's
She got some
talk about
defense.
the Scion and her new
Yeah, I'm really
Valkyrian
curious about
Ascendancy
this.
class.
Let's see.
For those that have played the Legacy of Frisia events, this class will seem familiar. The Reliquarian is a learned scion that has studied history at the Oriath Academy. She is a part of a secret
Mommy.
society of Oriathans, dedicated to collecting and discerning the strange properties of unique items. All of her passive powers come from these unique items, found from throughout Rayclast. After ascending,
Whoa, these are
first
all
select
new.
the power of a unique armor. Victario's influence increases the level of all your auras and gives them a much larger area of effect.
Hey, that's actually useful
Or
for one of the
instead,
league start
take
ideas. I have.
Kilowava's Bluster, giving you a chance to have extreme elemental resistance against incoming hits.
Okay, that's useless.
Next, pick from a unique weapon power. Widow Hail greatly increases
Okay.
the bonuses gained from your quiver.
That's decent.
Or Martyr's Teaching, which causes your minions' critical strike chance with attacks to be equal to your main hand weapons. Lastly, pick your Crown Jewel, a unique jewelry power.
Don't tell me there's like a
Astral
Nemesis in
Projector
there.
Causes Nova spells to
that's
cast from
whatever.
enemies rather than from yourself. Or take Astromentus, simply giving you a huge
Oh, yeah,
boost
that's-
to all your attributes.
They showed some really underwhelming ones, and I'm not gonna lie.
Due to all the ways you can mix and match unique powers, the Reliquarian has more flexibility in how you build it
What is that
compared to
skill?
any other Ascendancy class in the game.
What the fuck is that?
Our plan going forward is for the Reliquarian to not be a static Ascendancy class.
That's
and
Dark
between
Pact?
each expansion, the unique powers which are offered will change. If you don't like what she offers this expansion, hopefully she'll have the power of your favorite unique item in the next one.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, I like it.
Time to move on to the endgame.
New uniques every league. That's pretty sick.
With this expansion, we are aiming to liven up the endgame, giving players new experiences, strategies to
Okay.
leverage, and streamlining or removing the more frustrating tasks. Extensive changes will be coming to the Atlas and how you engage with maps,
I'm scared.
without interfering with the beloved core experience that has made mapping so successful. In the last few endgame updates, you experienced Zana's story. How she helped defeat the Elder, tried to stop exiles from going mad in the Atlas,
And now we're gonna experience
and
Zana's
faced new
body,
threats
please.
pouring forth from it. In the most recent expansion, she eventually realized that there was only one way forward: to destroy the Atlas. Zana's recent actions have now weakened the already strained and tattered edges of its realities,
This is the old
reshaping
Atlas.
how we interact with the Atlas entirely. To explain how this changes your interactions with the Atlas, we first want to establish some context while having a bit of a trip down memory lane.
Yeah.
27 expansions ago, back in Path of Exile 3.1.0, the War for the Atlas, we had a mechanic on
No,
the
we're not
Atlas
getting
where
this
the
again,
Shaper
are we, man?
and
Please.
Elder were engaged
Don't
in
give me
war.
this.
This manifested as influence regions on the Atlas that affected specific maps.
Yeah.
The ever-changing influence regions made the Atlas feel more like a physically connected space, rather than just a fancy way of visualizing a checklist of completed maps. However, one of the main frustrations with this mechanic was that you constantly needed many different specific maps in order to manipulate the influenced
Right.
regions. We realized we'd love to again have mechanics that manifest physically on your Atlas, but we'd have to address the issue of always needing those specific maps. The first major change we'll be making to solve this is divorcing map items from specific areas.
What does
As
that
an
mean?
example, instead of having a Mesa map, you will now find, say, a Tier 10 map. To open a Mesa map now, just locate and select Mesa on your Atlas, put in your map item, click
Whoa.
activate, and you're good to go. That Mesa may drop a Tier 11 map. You can then immediately return to your map device,
Okay.
which will default to the last map run, and then
W.
run it again.
Massive W.
Or choose a new map to use it on. It's your choice.
Big W.
This is one of the many benefits to this change, which is that if you're the type of player who enjoys chaining the same map over and over, or the type of player who prefers to jump around, it is equally easy to do either strategy or even switch between them at
Beautiful.
a moment's notice. For example, if one day you're farming burial chambers, hoping to eventually get a headhunter from divination cards, and you decide you need a change of rhythm, you can seamlessly swap to your boss farming Atlas tree and spam Mesa for peak boss killing efficiency. Up until now, this would have required having some
Oh,
Mesa
yeah.
maps stashed, setting all your favored maps to Mesa, or doing a whole bunch of trading. You'll also notice that the structure of the Atlas has changed.
Right.
If you haven't played in a while, here's a look at it before and after. You will now begin at
What
the
the
center
fuck?
of the Atlas, with each corner housing one of 4 Voidstone slots. In addition, all content accessed from your map device now
Untainted
exists
Paradise is on
physically
there.
on the Atlas, so you can see everything available
It
in the
can drop
endgame
then.
as
It
you
can drop.
reveal the Fog of War. This also means that all unique maps are now present on the Atlas, including some old favorites that are appearing for the first time. Don't worry though, you don't need to complete Hall of Grandmasters every league. You now gain 1 Atlas skill point per unique map completed, up to a maximum of 10.
Okay.
Given there
We can just
are
run wherever
around
you want
20
then.
unique maps, you only need to complete the half you want,
Oh, never mind. Okay.
if you can get your hands on them. Note, you aren't losing
So Untainted's
any
gonna be
Atlas
fucking
skill
tradable, dude.
points.
That's actually so
These
sick.
have been moved to new places, and actually, you can get more than before. Due to Zana's actions, Egan now has a new goal and is determined to stop Zana's destruction
Oh, God.
by
All right.
making use of a mysterious new discovery, arcane astrolabes. Zana is currently traversing the threads that weave the Atlas together,
These are the old
severing them.
sextants.
With these new astrolabes, Egan is able to trace her movement, but using them causes dangerous side effects. When you use an astrolabe on a map on the Atlas, a shaped region will manifest itself in that quadrant, affecting many of the maps within it. There are many different kinds of astrolabes, and they apply different types of shaped regions.
What is this? More currency.
For example, an abyssal region, which causes all the maps to have an additional abyss. Or a blighted region, which adds a blight encounter.
Yeah, you can overlap these, obviously, right? Like that's.
Completing the content added by the astrolabe will remove the shaped region's influence from that map. Upon doing so, every other map remaining in the shaped region will gain an additional modifier.
Whoa.
This means as you progress through the shaped region, maps you run will become more and more intense,
Whoa.
with the relevant mechanic getting more and more juice.
This is fun, dude. I like this a lot.
Finally, at the end of the region of maps, once you have successfully rid the Atlas of the shaped region,
No
Egan
way.
will take you to one of 4 memory vaults, where there are powerful rewards to be
Dude,
had.
that's so cool.
He cares only for the knowledge hidden within that vault, so any items are yours for the taking. Each vault is associated with a specific
love
quadrant
this.
on the atlas, so you're able to target a certain vault if you're wanting to try get a specific type of reward. One such vault is the Archon's Vault, where you'll be rewarded with powerful unique items. Or the Zealot's Vault, to acquire valuable currency items.
Nice filter.
This new shaped region system is one that promotes running many different maps.
Complete a map
But for
objective
players that
with
want to
objective-
engage with this new system, while still wanting to run the same map
Okay.
over and over again, the synthesized stability keystone on the Atlas tree enables exactly
that's
that.
dope. Actually, wow. Dude,
With
holy
all the new
shit, these
in-game
people just, they
changes,
get it,
We
man.
thought it would be also good to mention some handy tips and tricks for quickly navigating the new Atlas. When using the map device, the Atlas defaults to your previously run map, so running the same map over and over is as few clicks as possible.
Dude, they get
You
it.
can
They just
right-click
get
unique
it.
maps or map fragments in your inventory to automatically open your Atlas to that location with the map already placed and ready to run. When you select a special area that requires multiple items, such as to fight at Zeri or open the domain of timeless
Okay,
conflict,
nice. That's cool.
if you have the fragments to access that in your inventory, it will automatically add them to the map device in the right spot. That's the core of the new in-game. But there's a lot more in-game changes coming in 328.
Okay.
Let's blast through them. Over the last few expansions, we've been working on streamlining the mapping experience. And we wanted to continue to minimize busy work so
This
you
is
can
dropping a
spend
lot of
more
loot.
time doing what you love, killing monsters and getting loot. To that end, we've made a number of changes. We won't get into too much detail, but here's a quick summary of what you can expect to have received adjustment. We've removed cartographer's chisels and map device crafts entirely.
Okay.
The loss of content and loot here has been compensated for in other places. Voidstones now grant special global bonuses while socketed on your Atlas, including adding the new Originator Voidstone, which enables specific Atlas bosses to drop exceptional supports. We'll elaborate more on that in the next section.
Okay.
T17 maps as you know it have effectively been removed.
Whoa. Excuse me.
Bosses have been kept around, and they better fulfill their original purpose of being a gateway to target farm uber pinnacle bosses.
Okay.
The most annoying modifiers on Originator maps have been removed or replaced.
W.
No more getting turned
W,
into a slug
W,
for simply
W.
using skills. And no more will you be incapable of dealing damage periodically.
I told you they just get it. They get it.
Petal skills in Originator maps have been removed.
Oh, okay.
However, some of their effects are now available from the altars and memory threads.
Oh, okay. That's kind of cute.
Memory tears, instead of adding a memory thread to your Atlas, will now drop an itemized version of that thread, allowing you to save it for later or trade it at your leisure.
Another massive W.
We've added new scarabs, such as this Expedition
Ooh,
Scarab
I
of
love that.
Infusion,
That's great.
which can generate some truly tempting
Expedition is back.
logbooks. And for those of you looking to take on the ultimate one-on-one
Oh.
fight, the Anarchy Scarab of the Exceptional will place a true antagonist-level rogue exile
Uh-oh.
threat in your map. Empowered by every type of wildwood wisp,
Oh my
possessed
god.
by a tormented spirit, augmented with rare monster modifiers, and affected by a shrine.
Yeah, we'll leave this for
exile
Captain
is
Lance.
not to be trifled with. Alongside that, we've also changed some, such as the Beyond Scarab of Resurgence, which now causes all 3 Beyond bosses to appear when a Beyond boss would spawn in your map.
Okay. I hate
On
Beyond.
top of that, we've made improvements to a number of weak Atlas Tree passives,
Okay.
such as Pillage and Plunder, which now grants a chance for items dropped by Syndicate members to have a Fractured Veiled mod.
That's so fucking dope.
Check out the new The Paths Not Taken keystone,
Divination cards in your maps.
which means your maps on average will
Far
drop
from true.
twice as many divination cards. But which ones can drop will be a mystery.
That's fun, I
And
guess.
last, but not least, we've also made some changes to King's March shipping, such
Oh, God.
as we've swapped the rewards given by sending ore and crops, I wonder what this new port will send back.
Wait,
Ports will now give more rewards for favoured resources. And you can even re-roll them for gold, if they're
Oh.
not offering what you're after.
wait, so
Specific
ore
ports
is
will
the thing
now
that gives
reward specific
currency now?
tattoos and rune grafts, making it easier to target the ones you want. Not to mention, the Kalgurans
Oh,
have
God.
discovered several new powerful rune grafts for you to get your hands on,
Oh, Jesus.
such as the Rune Graft of Fury, which
That's cool.
causes
I
you
like
to
that.
gain rage on using a life flask, and
That's not
the Rune
useless.
Graft of Resurgence, which causes
Okay, that's
Arcane
useless.
Surge to also grant life regeneration. We mentioned earlier about the Originator Voidstone enabling access to exceptional supports. So let's get into that, as there's a decent amount to cover. After defeating the incarnations of Fear, Neglect, and Dread, you will obtain the Originator Voidstone. As mentioned earlier,
the
this
fuck is a
Voidstone
nightmare map,
allows
anyway?
new exceptional support gems to drop from many bosses across the Atlas. These new supports are an improvement over the old Awakened support system, which is being phased out.
Whoa, wait, Awakened gems are gone?
Awakened supports have long been a capstone investment for a character, but there's existed a gulf between the more interesting ones, such as Awakened Spell Cascade, which has some additional transformative effect, as opposed to some of the simpler Awakened supports, which just have slightly higher numerical values.
Right.
Exceptional supports will all be transformative, serving as an additional late-game tool to customize your build around, and extending character customization and
Wait, what's the
creation
difference on that? I don't-
even later into a build's life. One of the goals
50%
here
more
is
melee
to
attack
provide
speed? Was that-
interesting
I don't
build
know what it-
choices, even at later levels and deep into the engine.
Whoa, what the fuck?
However, we are certainly not aiming to reduce top-end player power with these changes.
That's fucking broken
Exceptional
right there.
supports
That's
will still
broken.
be super strong. If used well, they will catapult your character even further than before. So, how many are there, and what exactly do they do?
I love it. I love
There
it.
are over 40 new exceptional supports to discover,
40.
adding additional enticing drops to bosses that may otherwise have felt not as worthwhile to run, giving players extra reason to take on those challenges. For instance, from the King in the Mists, we have the Hex Toad support. This support creates areas of swampy cursed ground, which spawns toads that bounce towards enemies and then explode, dealing chaos damage. From the Uber Elder, we have the Void Storm support, which causes your raining attacks to create celestial storms of energy that grow over time,
That looks
detonating
fucking
as you
cool,
approach
man.
for massive damage. Defeating the incarnation of Neglect may win you the Frost Mage support. Similar to the existing Archmage support,
What?
you are rewarded for stacking mana to enhance your spells
That is
with
fucking dope.
extraordinary cold damage. We'll tease some more of these before launch, but there will be many,
Dude, I'm so into
many
that.
more for you to discover. Keepers of the Flame is coming back. However,
Alright, let's see.
we do know that many players have issues with the walls in Hive
Okay.
encounters.
Right off the
In
bat.
order to address these concerns, we'll be making a number of changes.
Okay.
One of the biggest problems is that walls would block your projectiles, meaning that when a
No, that
hive
was not my
randomly
biggest
spawned in
pro-
your
nope,
map,
that's not what I
it
care
would make
about.
it harder to clear.
That's not what I care about.
In order to prevent that, walls and hive encounters will now be destroyed by any damage.
I mean, okay, that's...
But we also wanted to make
That's
sure we
good.
reduce the visual clutter they cause.
Okay.
Hives and their walls are now smaller.
I mean, you could have just removed them.
To
I don't...
allow players to engage with hive encounters quicker
I
when they
just-
do want to help Aelith, we've added a new Atlas passive which drastically increases the detonation area of unstable burrows, causing them to reliably chain react and destroy the majority of remaining walls. For those who don't want to deal with the walls at all, there's now a pair of keystones that allow you to block hive encounters or
Okay, I knew this was gonna
unstable
happen.
breaches, if you want.
See, like,
Now
that
that this
almost
is a core
solves the wall
league,
issue.
we
Like,
don't
it's... I
want you
just
to
don't know why
have
they
to grow
just
your
removed it,
Genesis
though.
tree from
Like, who
scratch
cares?
on every league start. So now, each womb gift slot is already usable by default, and access to the Monastery of the Keepers will be gained by finding Aelith starting in Act 6 Mudflats. Now
looks like
with
it'll be
Atlas
good.
Tree and
It'll be good.
Scarab
I'm sure it's gonna be
support,
good.
you can have multiple unstable breach encounters active in a single area, for maximum ruckus.
Maximum
Speaking
ruckus.
of
That's a
Atlas Tree and
first.
Scarab support, we've added plenty. Here are a few examples. The The Massing Forces Atlas notable grants a chance to have additional unstable breaches in your maps.
Okay.
The Breach Scarab of the Marshal guarantees a breach boss or hive fortress, while the Breach Scarab of the Incensed Swarm
You can just
replaces
farm
all of
you can
Aelith's
just farm
skills with
fortresses.
Enrage the Hive, increasing the difficulty and reward from hive monsters in all
This is
subsequent
cool.
waves.
I like it.
Graft items will no longer exist,
Yeah,
but
good.
we've moved several of the graft skills to new exceptional supports,
Oh, okay.
such as the Hiveborn support, which summons an army of breach minions to do your bidding when
No
you
one cares,
use a
minions.
supported offering skill,
No one cares.
and the Foul Grasp support, which calls forth a field of grasping breach hands when you recall brands, exploding for heavy lightning damage when enemies approach them.
That could actually be pretty good.
We're looking forward to seeing how these improvements and additions are received, alongside a lot of what Keepers also has to offer. From the new bosses in their bloodline, through to the Genesis tree and its many different crafting options, like Foulborn Uniques. Also with its new narrative, we look forward to extrapolating on all of this and learning more about Aelith, the Hiveborn, and its Breach Lords in the future. That covers all the new content we're adding, and that was a lot.
Okay.
From a new in-game system, several
More.
new reward types, new ways to juice maps, all of which you can double up in the new Mirage
And no
League,
mercenaries, though. It's kind of an L.
and all that alongside a suite of new holy skills, a new ascendancy class, and an insane amount of new character customization in the endgame. However, an important part of Path of Exile expansions is making sure there is a continued effort to improve quality of life. So let's get into that now. You can now favorite trades on the currency exchange. This consists of selecting 2 currencies that you want to be able to trade between with a single click, and setting them as a favorite trade. Favorite trades will appear by default on opening the currency exchange.
Yeah, everyone's going to have that
and will
one.
still auto-suggest a ratio based on recent trade data. A further improvement to the currency exchange is the ability to open and interact with your stash
You could do this
while
anyway.
you have the exchange window open. Now,
You just have to
when
be good at the
trading
game.
in a full set of divination cards, it will automatically be handed
This is the
in
biggest
to
quality of
become
life
the
change
resultant item.
they've ever done.
If you then turn in another set immediately, the reward from the
if
previous
you're
set
someone
will
that
be
farms
transferred to your
217s,
inventory directly,
you know.
assuming there's enough free space to do so. Labyrinth font crafts that previously gave a random transfigured gem now allow you to choose which transfigured gem of that type you'd like to receive. The asynchronous trade item sale history is now hoverable, with full item descriptions of the sold item.
Who bought that for 10C? Who bought that?
When using Divine Orbs, you can now tell exactly which modifiers can be randomized. The ritual icon will now glow if you've got significant unspent tribute in an area and all rituals are complete. And a pop-up will appear after the final ritual completion. Also on the topic of ritual, you can now quick use vessels on completed rituals. Have you ever tried to click a divine shrine, surrounded by enemies, and find it extremely difficult to click? Well, shrines now take priority over monsters when clicking in an area they overlap. Since 3.24, we've been looking to add new ways to improve the campaign experience, and 3.28 is no different. This patch, we've added over 20 landmark rooms throughout the campaign, scattered across all 10 acts.
Most people don't care about
Some
this,
of
but I
these
love it
rewards
because
are
I take so
pretty
long in the
useful
campaign
stuff.
anyway that like
So
I'll
keep
probably
an
end
eye
up
out for
doing
the
this of
new
these.
and unexpected rooms, side passages, chests, and encounters as you progress throughout Rayclast.
I love this shit. I love it.
We want most of these to be a surprise, but we'll show you just one. There is now a small central island in the Karui Fortress, all inhabitants of which will drop a basic tattoo when slain.
Now, if you get a fire resistant tattoo from these guys, you save it for a few days, you could actually make
Next
some
up,
money off of
we're
that.
going to be talking about our new supporter packs. Today, we're launching 2 new series of supporter packs.
Right, these are actually always
The
pretty
Curator
good,
of
so.
Wisdom and Iron Incarcerator packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions. As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power or progression in any way. The Curator of Wisdom series of supporter packs
Cool.
contains 7 exclusive microtransactions. The Traveling Wisdom back attachment has all the necessary tools you may require to chronicle your journey, complete with a helpful rat friend. These chronicles will activate their magic upon identifying items, and will track the number of items identified of each rarity.
Cool.
Just hover the item, or link it in chat to show it off. The Acquired Wisdom Unique Finisher effect summons an ancient scroll that consumes unique enemies and the knowledge they hold. Most exiles would struggle carrying piles of scrolls while traveling Rayclast, but the Grand Curator of Wisdom armor set is perfect for the adventurous scholar. Any expert curator knows that scrolls hold more than just knowledge, they also hold power. As you cast spells, the scrolls attached to the armor will burn away, before rematerializing shortly after. It also features a series of helmet variations, so you can get precisely the look you're after. Summon your Scroll Shaper familiar pet to follow alongside you. This creature is formed from folded magical texts, and can shapeshift between different forms. You can think of this as having multiple pets in one. It can fold into a fox, and then even burn away, reforming into a flying bird.
He's hacking.
This series of packs also contains the Scroll Portals, jumbo-sized versions of the Scroll of Wisdom and Portal Scroll that you can make a quick retreat through. A supreme catalogue of knowledge can't remain in one place for too long and risk being pillaged by thieves.
I like that.
The Titan Apex Hideout features a colossal titan who carries your base of operations atop their shoulders, constantly moving through a boundless desert.
That's really cool.
The Iron Incarcerator pack also contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
Damn.
The Incarcerator's Restraints back attachment features stockades that were used to immobilize
let me see the weapon
prisoners
effect.
by binding them to the earth as they were tortured for their wrongdoings. Shackles envelop your choice of torturing device when using the Chains of the Incarcerator weapon effect.
It looks cool, but it's not going to be very
These
noticeable.
chains shatter into links as you batter enemies.
You can't even
Make
see
your
them,
way
though.
through Rayclast as a walking penitentiary, intimidating your enemies with the elite Iron Incarcerator armor set. After a long day of tracking down criminals, step into the Iron Maiden portal to retreat to your torture chamber. It acts as a great deterrent for would-be intruders. This peculiar creature was a favorite amongst incarcerators. They would be sent into the midst of prison riots to mesmerize and control the toughest of minds. Use their talents to charm other players' pets, causing them to abandon their owners and follow in line behind you instead.
What?
At least until it wears off. What better way to execute prisoners
It's
when your
fucking
torturing
hilarious.
has depleted their value? Harvest their souls to fuel this map device, condemning them to eternal incarceration. Your kills within the map are also recorded based on the rarity of the monster.
It's not okay. It's
You
another
can
one of those.
choose to pin an execution session that you're satisfied with on this miniature leaderboard,
Oh, that's cute.
which is displayed for all that dare enter your hideout. Additionally, all microtransactions from these supporter packs will be made available for use in Path of Exile 2. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. We're just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D. Afterwards, we'll post the full patch notes for Path of Exile Mirage at 11 AM New Zealand time, 2 PM Pacific. With release at the end of next week, our community team will be posting crucial information you'll need for the release. Keep an eye on the news.
All right. This looks fucking awesome, bro. This is more than what I expected. These endgame changes are giga. I absolutely adore it. So it stays like February 26th when this league was announced that GGG really does kind of make other ARPG devs look kind of sad. First thing I want to say, this reveal for this patch, as far as any of the reveals I've ever watched in the past, which is nearly all of them, it is the best one I've seen. Like, it is the most attractive patch that I've ever seen from the reveal stream. I think maybe the only other time I was as excited as I am for this is like Siege of the Atlas, because that one was pretty massive. But this one is just kind of doing every single thing perfectly, in my opinion. Like the whole design of the Mirage mechanic looks really cool. It's like they're really like making up for 3.27 is what it feels like. I feel like they tried pretty hard with this patch to, get us invested again and make up for keepers. And that's something if if you're somebody who's in my Discord, I've been preaching that recently. It's like I had really, really, really high hopes and expectations for this upcoming league because 3.27 was so trash. They always bounce back. They always do this. They always make it right. But yeah, so I'll just start talking about what I think is cool about the patch. I'm not going to go through like all the patch notes or anything. I have some things written down that's just like all the things that I think are the coolest to talk about. First is obviously the Mirage mechanic, which I think it's kind of like how in PoE 2 they had when Abyss came out, they had the Abyss was interacting with essence monsters. Like if essences were spawned on Abyss, they would have like Abyss specific essences, and I think there was a couple other things that it did that interacted with. I didn't really mess around with it too much, so I'm not the most knowledgeable on it, but it's got like this mechanic is sort of that same kind of concept, but it's like doubled down, quadrupled down on that idea. It's like specifically designed to do those things. It has a lot of its own stuff. Like here, I'll just mention X on the screen. These coins you can get where you imbue the level 1 support gem of a specific color into a gem like this. First of all, that's incredible power creep. It's going to be a lot stronger for some builds than others. There's going to be some that are big winners. And if you saw the update on my deep dive builds, there's like two things that I think in particular that I've specifically noticed they're going to be really strong. First being power charge stackers are going to benefit from this tremendously because the power charge on crit support has the same damage scaling at level 1 as it does at level 20. It's 4% more damage per power charge at any level. So that's going to be an absolutely massive boon to any of those power charge stacking builds. And that's really important because you are not only just getting a free 7th link, you can just take power charge on crit out of your gear, but there's all these new exceptional gems coming, which by the way are like a really cool way to improve upon the awakened gems. It's going to be, it seems like it's going to be easier to get them, but there's also more of them. And we don't know which awakened gems were taken out. They obviously showed a couple that were still in the game. Like I think they showed Multi-Strike and Spell Cascade are two that we know for sure are still in the game. But I suspect we're going to have all of the awakened gems that we were actually using before are still in the game, just as this new exceptional support stuff. So like, awakened GMP is not going to go anywhere. Awakened cast on crit, like these things that people actually really used are going to stick around, and all the ones that people didn't are just going to be gone. Like awakened added lightning or awakened, I don't know, hex touch, like stuff like that. No one was using that. It was kind of just like sitting there and being useless, pretty much. Obviously, there's some use cases, but very little. I suspect those will be the ones that are gone. But yeah, so that's pretty impactful. So, if you were a power charge stacker build and you're like, I want to put an exceptional gem in here, and if we didn't have this extra level 1 thing, you'd actually have to like sacrifice a pretty meaningful gem or a support slot before. Now you don't really have to worry about it too much. That being said, we don't know how expensive it's going to be to get these things. But because it is tricky because you have to have a max level gems. It's gonna be level 20, and obviously you're gonna want to put 20 quality on it at the same time because you are corrupting it when you use one of those currencies. So it's definitely not going to be something you're going to have up and running early on. It's probably going to be a pretty high budget thing. I would suspect it's no more than like 30 to 50 divines to get the sort of system or like the link you want. Because how many options are there per gem? Like let's just say there's like 40 blue support gems. I think there's more than that, but like let's just say there's 40 blue. Then you have a 1 in 40 every time you click that to get the power charge on crit. So it's not going to be easy to get it, but yeah, to just touch on the Mirage mechanic a little bit more, I think these wishes are going to, on average, be really strong. I definitely think if this, if you're seeing 3 choices here that are all pretty strong, just from a couple examples they've shown, it's more than likely going to be useful every time, but there's definitely going to be some jackpot ones. You know, there's probably going to be times where there'll be conversion of some random item that can drop into divine orbs or whatever, because that's just generally how they do these things. There's always going to be some sort of jackpot system involved. So on average, they look really cool, but they can also probably have a jackpot. But here's all the stuff I've written down. Another thing is that it's going to be, they said that in the campaign there is, you know, because there's normally not a lot of content in the campaign, like league mechanic type stuff, they decided that for this mechanic, because it's built around them being there, in the campaign there's just going to be like a whole crap ton of random league mechanics going on that are going to be interacting with Mirage. So that'll be cool. I'm personally a pretty slow campaign runner because I like to take my time and understand my character and stuff, benchmark it on the way. So I'll be interacting with it for sure. I'm sure I'll be like over leveled by like 15 levels by the time I'm done with the campaign, but that's good. Yeah, and other than that, I'm just really excited to see all the different mechanics that like how it interacts with all of them, because they only showed a few, but yeah. So another thing is the new skills they added. I think it's pretty much universal that the best looking one is this slam skill. I don't know if it'll be better than other slam skills on normal slam archetypes, but if you, for example, were to play something like an elementalist, because this thing likes to use power charges too, like it makes these AoEs way bigger and stuff, there's probably some kind of elementalist type build you could do with this slam skill, using power charges, because it's kind of hard to get power charges reliably on like a classic slam or berserker or something, but I really don't play the archetype, so you know I wouldn't be the person to know this stuff anyway. But then they redid sweep, holy sweep, which looks pretty badass to be honest. It'll definitely have some really cool scaling you can do. All the other skills I don't really care for. You know, this is like a minion scaling melee skill. I think they really botched it with this one, this shield, holy shield skill, because they made it a retaliation skill. And I'll be honest, I'm kind of tired of them doing that. Like, there's already enough retaliation skills in the game. Don't add more. Like, barely anyone's going to play it. Like, it's basically a dead skill when you put it in the game. You should just, like, when's the last time I got a new shield skill, right? Like, when did we get an actual shield skill that you can use for, like, your main skill? It's been a long time. So I think it would have been really cool if it weren't retaliation, but they chose to do retaliation. And then there's this weird one. Let me see. Yeah, this one. It supposedly it also uses your shield, because he said it's a shield skill technically, but like, what the hell is this though? Like, I don't know how this works, but it just looks kind of weird. So in terms of new skills, slam looks badass and sweep looks pretty badass, but don't really care about the other stuff. And then let's just get right to the most important thing here. This is what the patch is really about for me and most people probably. The rework to the endgame. This is what really like just absolutely astounds me, right? Because I've been saying for a long time that like the Path of Exile endgame is the best endgame that's ever existed in ARPG. It's not even close. Like, it's just better than all of the other ones. And you know, when you hear that they're going to rework stuff on what is the best system that exists, you get kind of nervous. But holy shit, dude, they just figured out a way to make it like just 5 times better. Like, this end game is going to be absolutely astounding. I genuinely don't think I've like this whole sequence of the end game changes. I've never seen anything like this in a PoE reveal. Like, the closest I can think of is the Atlas skill tree with like the Siege expansion. But there's just so much to talk about. Like, there's the not needing specific maps, you just get the tiers. It's similar to like Waystones and PoE2, except you get to pick every single layout that you're running because you don't have the stupid exploration system. So you don't lose out on any of the determinism of what map you're going to play, and you no longer even have to use favored map slots. Like, all that stuff is just gone. It's always nice to remove bloat and streamline systems, so I'm a big fan. The astrolobes, which are like Where are they? Yeah, these things that you put here. They'll always have, it seems like they'll always have like a League Mechanics specific thing to it. So like this one would have an additional breach, but then it also gives you one additional modifier. And every single time you complete one of the maps inside this zone, you get another modifier for the next one. And it's just like crazy levels of juice. Like by the time you're at like the last few maps of these things, like you're going to have crazy maps. Like this more than, it's like 2x, 3x making up for the, like it's compensating for the nerfs to loot in 3.27. Like this is tremendous. And I'm sure that once you take advantage of all the systems, it's going to be incredible. And they got rid of Cartographer's Chisels, and now your Atlas Completion just gives you more item quantity as you get there, and I think 25 is where it caps. So Chisels are gone, but we have 25 quantity on every map anyway, so that's cool. Don't have to worry about Chisels anymore. There's Maven Chisels, but they got changed too. They're now just one chisel will make it 20 quality, and they slightly nerf the values. Well, pretty decently nerf the values on what the chisels actually do. I think usually most of them are like by half, but because you only have to use one of them, in terms of the cost efficiency, you're actually still saving 50% of your currency with the new system too. So like it's less investment, it's like less loot, sure, in terms of what it used to be, but it's way easier to engage with that system, and it's going to be a lot more favorable for people like using them very frequently over like saving them for Mega Juice maps. So that's cool. The T17 rework is insanely important. So basically, T17 maps are no longer going to be the pinnacle maps in terms of like economy, like farming currency, which is really important, right? Because T17 map bosses being affected by map mods was sort of like the benchmark for characters being able to farm the pinnacle content or not, right? Like, is your build capable of running those maps and killing that map boss? Because if it isn't, then you're at a huge disadvantage in the economy. You're going to be way worse off than people who could run them. And nobody liked running them. T17s were not fun. The layout sucked. The boss fights weren't skillful. They were just cancer, and it was just a build check, not a skill check. And the layouts were cringe. There was no open layouts. So basically, now that originator maps are the peak juice in the game, that means you get to pick any layout. And you don't have to worry about killing a T17 map boss to make the map actually worth doing. So while it's kind of like subtle of a change in this way that you kind of have to like use your brain a little bit to figure out how big this is going to drastically increase the amount of build diversity in the end game. Like if you had some build before that you're like, oh man, I wish I could play this, but it's going to cost like 2 mirrors to be able to complete tier 17 maps, and that's just not worth it when I could play a build that could do that for like 50 divines. That whole thought process has completely changed now. And you can play like any of those builds that might have underperformed, you can just slap them on now. And bow builds are going to have a much easier time because, you know, bow builds were terrible at T17s and they have pretty bad single target on average without crazy investment. So the map boss was kind of out of the question for most of them. Most of them are defensively unstable, so you just get one shot by the T17s, blah, blah, blah. That's the same story for a million different build archetypes for this. So you will absolutely be seeing a lot more viable builds in the end game now, and I am an absolute like huge fan of this. Experimentation and like variety is my favorite possible thing about the characters in this game, so that's huge. Also, the tier 17 modifiers that everyone hated are gone. Let me see, where did they show? Yeah, right here. Like here's an example. These two mods, which are probably my least favorite two, is the reduced action speed and the no damage every 3 out of 10 seconds. There is a list of the ones that they changed. Let me see if I can find it. Man, what is it? How would I find it? Here it is. So yeah, the no damage mod is gone. Petrification statues are gone. Reduced action speed's gone. Marked for death is gone. Remove on hit, gone. Impale is gone. I never really actually noticed this one being a problem, but I'm sure there was times I got one shot and didn't even like really realize what it was. Awaker's Desolation is also gone. I actually didn't mind this one that much. I thought it was kind of easy to play around, but I understand there's a lot of builds that and players that didn't like it. Player skills with throw traps, throw fewer. you know, obviously that's for the people who play trap builds. I never experienced this, but I can understand how that would be really annoying. And maybe even unplayable. Minion players got love here even. Don't care about that, obviously. And then this one is the fur totem build. So like basically these ones are the ones that matter for most people, and those were the most annoying by far. So the fact that they're gone now even means that rolling originator maps is going to be 10 times as it's going to be 10 times easier. Like you're going to be able to have an easy regex. And obviously a lot of builds like so, for example, like the reduced action speed one made Juggernaut and Trickster feel incredible on 217 maps because they could run this mod and not give a shit. And that felt really bad, especially when something like Trickster gets triple tap nerfed. Actually, it was quad tap nerfed in 3.27. So, you know, it's just really nice. You don't have to worry about that shit anymore. I think the people are using the Bloodline Ascendancy even where you don't have any sockets in your boots, which, you know, fair enough, but I will never do that. I'm not giving up 4 sockets for that. And, you know, Petrification statues follow the same rules. And actually, if you run Betrayal, these can get kind of annoying. But it's whatever. Betrayal's not really that dangerous, so. But yeah, so like the T17s being reworked in that way are fantastic. The T17 bosses still exist. I don't really know how you get to them. But they also dropped the Uber fragments, so now there's like a purpose for one and a purpose for the other. Is there anything else about the end game? I'm trying to think. What else? I think there is. Oh, I just want to quickly mention, like, oh yeah, okay, hold on. This thing, these vaults, when you complete one of those, like if you complete all the maps that you have affected with the Astrolabe, you get one of these vaults that you can go to. It's just badass, dude. Like, there's just going to be random loot in there, like it's a heist, a grand heist, and you just get to pick something. You will have good pulls. If you're playing the game and you're juicing your maps, you're going to have good pulls from this eventually. Like, it's just cool. You just get to go in there and get loot. Sick. Love it. And then also this thing's kind of important, just in case people have missed it. If you're the kind of person, which I would be included in this, that would think like, oh, well, yeah, that new juicing thing is really cool, but then you have to run a bunch of random maps that you don't want to run. Well, they thought of that. And this keystone will allow you to run the same map over and over again because normally when you complete a map, it loses its influence from that Astrolabe. But instead, with this one, you can take this, and the map that you run is the one that won't lose its Astrolabe influence. So that means it takes away from a random different one, and then you just keep running the same map you want to run. So pretty much every single person is going to have this allocated, which then you might say, oh, well, that's annoying because now I just have to lose an Atlas skill tree point to use this. But they're also giving us more Atlas points. I think it's like 8 more. And so there's no way that it won't be compensated for. And yeah, because like if this is basically going to be mandatory, then I kind of just feel like they should just make it work like this. I think 95% of people are going to prefer it to be like this, so it should probably just work like that, but it's whatever. It's also nice to have choice, I suppose, but maybe it should work like this, and then the keystone would be the other one if people like doing variety for some reason. Which is like I think Mark and Octavian both said that they like running random maps, and it's like, I don't really understand that. Maybe it's because you guys like actually design them, and so you like want to experience all the content you guys have made, but like, yeah, I don't know. It's just, who the hell wants to do that? And yeah, I don't think there's much else to talk about in specific to the end game other than the fact that we are getting like a lot more loot drops guaranteed. Oh, here's something I forgot to mention. King's March is like astronomically better now. In the way of like you actually have to interact with it. So like basically ores are what give you currency now in shipments. And the crops are the gear. And like I assume the like scarabs and stuff, whatever. That is so good, and it should have always worked like this post Settlers League, because the problem with King's March that I had, because if you're the kind of person that thinks that King's March was FOMO, I assure you there was no FOMO, okay? You're just making shit up. because you still had to invest a lot of time and gold into making the ships worth doing. Okay, like it was not just some thing where you're just like, oh yeah, I have to do this thing because if I don't, I'm being inefficient. It's not true. It's just not true. So drop that immediately if you were thinking that before. But now, that problem that people have had that was a fake problem is alleviated. But what I like about it is you're actually rewarded for scaling or what's it called? For running settlers in your atlas. There's actually like a good purpose for it. Like collecting the ores is actually the most important thing, which is like, well, duh, it should have been like that the whole time. But so that's really cool. So if you actually invest in settlers, you're actually investing in settlers. You can't just like have gold sink all day. So now, I mean, now the Atlas runners are like way easier to set up and have running all the time too, because you don't have to worry about gold as much anymore because your crops aren't going to be growing. So most people aren't going to be growing crops. I certainly won't be growing crops. I won't even probably engage with this much at all, but we'll see. It's kind of appealing. So then all you're limited by is your disenchanting, right? Like you can just get like a crap ton of ore so quickly. So then you're just limited by dust. And yeah, there's some changes to void stones. And I think the last thing we'll talk about is just keepers going core. So basically what's changed, no more grafts, which is fine. Those were kind of like min-maxy type things in the first place. And the walls, which I think they should have just removed, I think everybody would have liked it if they just removed them, are now way easier to deal with. You can see it in the background actually, like it's probably fine. Like it'll probably feel fine now. But you know, they probably should just remove them because they're just ugly and annoying regardless. But you know, they're basically solved in a way. And the Atlas Tree support lets you spec into which kind of encounters you want to spawn, and you can make it guaranteed. You can make sure they're all unstable. So, you know, it's just like, it's the kind of stuff that we exactly expected to happen with the breach mechanic. And I think all of the graft blood is just sent to the tree automatically. It can hold a max of 100k, which is a lot, so long as the values haven't changed too much. It looks like it's going to be great. And I can imagine, you know, if you're running these in your maps, if you have unstable breaches and they're actually dropping pretty good loot and you get a Mirage that has one of your breaches in it and you get a really good like jackpot wish, you know, you might be dropping shit tons of loot. So I think Keepers, it looks pretty good. I'm happy with the way it turned out with all these changes. So yeah, I can't think of anything else to mention. You know, here's the list of all the things that I had written down, but I gotta say, I have not seen a reveal as good as this before. And this is more than I expected by a large margin, even. And I had high expectations. And so, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I think we're going to have an incredibly good time. And I'll have some sort of videos soon trying to talk about some, maybe whatever plans I come up with for league starting and, you know, some things I could recommend or whatever. But for now, this is all I got. So I'll see you then.